Hello, my dear students. Today, the lecture 2 is going on atomic structure. Previously, we discussed the properties of electron, proton, neutron, particularly masses, charges, and discourse name. After that, we have to proceed to atomic models. Prior to that, one important question to you, that is, arrange the following particles in the increasing order of their E-beam value: electron, proton, neutron, and alpha. What is alpha? Alpha is nothing but helium-42. Helium-24, this is the helium nucleus. When it is losing 2 electrons, it is considered as helium plus plus. Helium plus plus will be having plus 2 charge and 4 AMU. That is written here. This is nothing but alpha. And here you have to arrange these particles according to the E-beam value. What is E-beam value? E-beam is nothing but specific charge. E-beam is nothing but specific charge. That you have to get the value. You need not remember the actual values, but it can be easily answered by getting the relative charges and relative masses. And here, in the case of electron, what is the relative charge, relative mass? That is represented here. Symbolically, this can be represented as E minus 1, 0. Minus 1 is the charge, 0 is the massless, almost 0 mass. Proton, it has plus 1 charge and almost equal to 1 AMU. Neutron, it is having 0 charge and 1 AMU. Helium, it is having positive charge as well as 4 AMU. This is the representation of these particles. Now you can get the E-beam value easily. E-beam is nothing but specific charge. E-beam is nothing but specific charge. And here, in the case of E electron, the charge is minus 1. Mass is 0. When something is divided by 0, the value is infinity. Similarly, in the case of proton, if you consider, the charge is plus 1 and mass is 1 is equal to 1. In the case of neutron, the charge is 0, the mass is 1 is equal to 0. In the case of alpha, the charge is plus 2, the mass is 4. 2 by 4, 1 by 2 is equal to 0.5. So these are the values that can be assigned by taking the relative values for E and M. And comparing this, electron is having infinity value, so this is having the highest value, and a proton value is 1, for neutron value is 0, and helium 0.5. So if you write them in the increasing order, first you have to write 0, that is neutron. Next particle comes helium, that is alpha, 0.5. Next one we are having, that is proton, and next you are having electron. This is the correct increasing order for the E-beam values for all these particles. This was once asked in the previous entrance examinations. And so that part is over. Now let us go to atomic models. And here in these atomic models, first of all, first model you have to consider. What is meant by atomic model? You have to project a model in which the arrangement of electrons, protons, neutrons are made. And whenever model is suggested, that should be in a position to explain the stability of the atom. If it is unable to explain the stability, that atomic model can be easily ignored. And now, first model that is suggested is watermelon model. It is also called plum pudding model. This was proposed by J.J. Thomson. At that time, only electrons and protons were known. There was no discovery of neutron. So how are these two are present in the atom, which is assumed to be a sphere? For that, the spherical atom was compared to the watermelon, which is also assumed to be a sphere. And here, in this case, if you take the cross section of the watermelon, this is the shape of the watermelon. And inside which there is red spongy material. This is what you call red spongy material. And this red spongy material is taken as the positive charge. In this way, the positive charge, namely proton's whole charge, is completely dispersed throughout the atom, just like the red spongy material in the watermelon. This is, you can take the watermelon cross-section area. And now, these are the seeds which are embedded in the watermelon red spongy material. Just like that, these are treated as electrons. Electrons are also present in the positive sphere here and there with fixed positions. This is the comparison made, and this model is called watermelon model proposed by J.J. Thomson. But this can be easily ignored because this model was unable to explain the stability of the atom. Why? You are saying that the electrons are remaining stationary in the positive field. When they are stationary, the electron and the proton, which is positive field, they will be attracted to each other. When they are attracted, what happens here? Their relative charges will be cancelled. When they are cancelled, the particles will be annihilated. And there is no proton, there is no electron. How can you explain the stability then? Atom is quite stable. And so, in that way, as the electrons are shown to be stationary and there is attraction between the positive field and the electron, they are coming together closer and their charges are cancelled, the particles will be annihilated and there is no existence at all, but atom is quite stable. And so, the stability of the atom was not explained by J.J. Thomson model, and so it is a failure. Later, the second model is Rutherford's model, which is also called planetary model. Planetary model was proposed by Rutherford. But this model is having experimental evidence. This is having experimental evidence, Rutherford's experiments. Basing on that only, this model was proposed by Rutherford, which is important also. And what is this experiment? Alpha ray scattering experiment. Alpha ray scattering experiments. What is alpha ray? We already discussed it. It is nothing but helium-14 nucleus. And Rutherford took these alpha rays from radioactive substance. Like polonium. Polonium is radioactive, which emits alpha rays. Those rays were considered. These are passed through thin gold foil. These are passed through thin gold foil. A thin gold foil is thickness. Once asked in the examination, thickness how much it is? It is 0.004 cm. This is equal to 4 into 10 to the power minus 4 cm. This is the thickness of the gold foil. When the alpha rays are passed through this, around the thick gold foil, there is the zinc sulfide screen focused there, and all these rays will be falling on this, and scintillations will be produced, of course. Then, using that, some conclusions are made. We are not going to discuss the experiment details, but what are the conclusions that are given in the Rutherford model? What are the conclusions made by him? That is more important. Basing on the conclusions only, we can write the atomic model. First, the important conclusion is the whole positive charge and whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center of the atom in very, very small space. This is the first conclusion he made. Whole positive charge as well as the whole mass of the atom is concentrated at the center of the atom. Very small space it is. And later this led to the discovery of neutron. Neutron discovery is only from alpha ray scattering experiment. And here the nucleus is very small and the atom is very big. Just you can compare this with a cricket ball and a cricket ground. Just imagine like this. This is the ground. This is the red ball, cricket ball placed at the center. Cricket ball occupies very small space. Cricket ball is considered as the nucleus. This is the cricket ball. This is considered as a nucleus. And the whole ground is assumed to be atom. So all this is empty space. How much emptiness it is? Just you will compare, Rutherford calculated. Radius of the nucleus is of the order of 10 to the minus 12 to 10 to the minus 13 cm. This is the range of the nucleus. Radius of atom is equal to 10 to the minus 8 centimeters order. Now we can compare these values. R atom by R nucleus is equal to 10 to the minus 8 cm by 10 to the minus 13 cm. This is equal to 1 lakh. If you take 10 to the minus 12 here, it is 10,000. So this is almost 1 lakh times greater than the size of the nucleus. And so this is nothing but the hollow sphere. That is nothing but the hollow sphere. Rutherford assumed that around the nucleus where the protons are present, where positive charge plus mass is present, around the nucleus, which is the empty space, the electrons will be revolving. That is the proposal made here. There the electrons are revolving. That is the proposal he made in this model. So here in this Rutherford model, nucleus is there, atom is there with a large empty space. In the large empty space, electrons are revolving like this. This is the model. Here it is compared to planetary model. Just like planets are revolving around sun, planets are revolving around the sun, so also the electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Nucleus is compared to the sun and electrons are compared to the planets. Planets are continuously revolving around the sun, so also the electrons are also revolving around the nucleus. And automatically you have to suspect. What is it? When the electron is revolving, it is having minus charge, nucleus is having positive charge. Nucleus automatically attracts the electron. Electron has to come here towards the nucleus. There is a clash, automatically it is spoiled. But it is not so. It cannot fall into the nucleus. It is there. It is moving with the fastest speed. And here, Rutherford's explanation, how it goes. When the electron is revolving with fast speeds, a force will be created by it by virtue of its motion. And that force is nothing but the centrifugal force. The centrifugal force is acting away from the nucleus. And the attractive force is acting toward the nucleus. This is the attractive force, this is the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is opposite to the attractive force. This is attractive force. These two will be exactly counterbalancing each other, exactly equal and opposite. So as a result of which, the centrifugal force of the electron created by virtue of its motion is counterbalancing the attractive force of the nucleus, as a result of which the electron can never fall into the nucleus and the atom is quite stable. In that way, Rutherford is able to explain the model, but it is not valid. Why? Because at that time there is a theory, classical theory, according to which when a charged particle is revolving continuously in a charged field, that particle must has to lose energy continuously. When it is losing the energy continuously, automatically attractive force dominates, as a result of which the electron will be coming towards the nucleus in a spiral path and gradually it falls into the nucleus. There ends the matter. But the atom is quite stable. How is it happening? That was not explained by it. That was not explained by it. So this is against classical theory. The second point you have to remember is, whenever it is emitting energy continuously, then if you take the spectrum, later we will discuss, the spectrum should be a continuous spectrum or band spectrum. But in the case of hydrogen, only line spectrum is obtained. How is line spectrum obtained? In spite of getting the band spectrum, where is the answer for it? Rutherford model cannot explain this. So in this way, Rutherford model was unable to explain the spectrum of hydrogen atom. Rutherford was unable to explain the objection raised by classical theory of Maxwell, as a result of which Rutherford model is somewhat failure, but it is a foundation. Nucleus is there at the center, around which there is large empty space, in which the electrons are revolving. So electrons are revolving like this here. When the electron is revolving, according to classical theory, the force of attraction becomes bigger than the centrifugal force. It has to take the spiral path like this and has to come continuously falling into the nucleus. There ends the matter. So this is the objection given by classical theory, as a result of which Rutherford is unable to explain this model also. Now, after the failure of Rutherford's model, Bohr developed a model which is called Bohr's atomic model, basing on Rutherford's model, because it is having some experimental evidence, and basing on mainly Planck's quantum theory. He proposed a model which can successfully explain the doubts raised by classical theory, as well as the hydrogen spectrum, which is a line spectrum. Successfully explained all the facts. That is why Rutherford atomic model is very important. But prior to the discussion of the Bohr's atomic model, we have to know about nature of radiations, because they are involved here. The other one is spectra. The third one is most important, Planck's quantum theory. This is the main basis for the Bohr's theory or Bohr's atomic model. So here, first let us consider the nature of radiation. Radiations. There are several radiations. Visible radiation we know. Apart from that, we are having so many radiations like X-rays, gamma rays, UV rays, visible rays, red rays, infrared rays, far infrared rays, radio waves, like this. These are all the broad spectrum of the rays. And visible rays are more important because those are the seen, that can be seen to the naked eye. And here, all these are nothing but the radiations. All these radiations are considered